Hi everyone, and welcome to the College Connect for pre-nursing students. This College Connect is for students who applied to the nursing program but were not immediately admitted as freshmen. You enter into a major that we call pre-nursing. Pre-nursing students are advised through the ACES office. The ACES office is called Advising Career and Exploratory Studies, and we work with all sorts of students in the first year. The ACES Advising Office advises about 42% of all incoming students. We focus on major and career exploration, and our advisors are trained to be generalists and know a lot about every program on campus. We work closely with the Fay W Whitney School of Nursing to know all about their preclinical coursework. Here's a little bit about the nursing major and the freshman admission. And so, as I said before, pre-nursing students applied to the nursing program but were not immediately admitted as freshmen. This gives a little bit of historical background about students that were admitted as freshmen. So if you look back at those fall classes from 2016 to 2019, we see high school GPAs that hover around 3.8 and ACT scores, and that's the composite score, that hovers around a 27 or a 28. So if you think you fall into that category, call the Fay W Whitney School of Nursing and inquire about your application. The pre-nursing major is the major on campus for students that are pursuing the non-freshman admission to the Basic BSN. We'll get to that in a moment. But here's a little bit of a background about students that are on our campus pursuing the nursing program. You can see a lot of freshmen and some sophomores, and this is also what students do when they transfer to the University of Wyoming. Students cannot transfer directly into the nursing program. They have to come through the pre-nursing major and then apply to the nursing program as non-freshmen. This is a list of coursework that is critical for the application to the nursing program. And it goes in phases, and this happens because these courses are prerequisites for the following courses. And so you can think of Phase 1 as college algebra, which we call Math 1400. Phase 2 encompasses anatomy and medical microbiology, and Phase 3 encompasses statistics and human systems physiology. The most important points to mention here are that biology must be taken first, as biology acts as a prerequisite for anatomy and medical microbiology, and then biology and chemistry both act as a prerequisite for the human systems physiology course. The algebra course acts as a prerequisite for statistics. And so this is the recommended sequencing from the School of Nursing. It doesn't have to be taken this way. There's certainly ways to personalize it depending on the student, and that's something that each student can work with their advisor on a one-on-one basis. There's additional preclinical curriculum, and I would encourage all students and parents to look at the preclinical curriculum as posted on the School of Nursing's website. And you can find that link in the ACES pre-nursing module within the virtual orientation. Some additional preclinical curriculum include the first year seminar and then a bunch of university studies program requirements that all students need to take. This slide is going to illustrate a little bit of what students are getting into when they're pursuing that non-freshman admission to the nursing program. And so we see in the middle of the screen there's a dotted line vertically. On the left-hand side is going to represent preclinical component. These are the credit hours that any student can take that include biology and chemistry and statistics. On the right-hand side, that's the clinical component. And that's when a student gets admitted into the nursing major. And so if we think the freshman admission, 40 students are admitted as freshmen. They put a cap on it. And there's 48 seats available in the clinical component. And as we go through this, naturally, students will exit that freshman admission path. Students that were admitted as freshmen, maybe they'll change their major. 2/3 of students change their major in their first year. And so let's say a student applies as a nursing major and is admitted as freshman, and then decides that they want to change their major to microbiology and pursue medicine. They leave that 40. And then maybe a student gets homesick and they decide Laramie's not for them and they move home. And so students are exiting that freshman admission path all the way through. And so that number of 40 it dwindles a little bit. Historically, we see it drop by about 10. 8 to 10 students drop out of that freshman admission path. And so all of you, anyone who's a pre-nursing student, is pursuing this non-freshman admission. And so we take 3 semesters of coursework, 48 credit hours, and then we apply to the nursing program as non-freshmen. They accept applications every September for this non-freshman admission, for admission in the spring semester. So you apply in September. In the fall semester, you do your coursework, and then you either are admitted or not that January for a spring start. And so again, students are entering into this non-freshman admission not just as freshmen, but as transfer students and as students that maybe change their major, and they're students moving out. The curriculum in this non-freshman admission is the same as the curriculum that the students in the freshman admission are taking. The School of Nursing recommends 17 credit hours in the first term. That includes biology, chemistry, algebra, freshman English, and the first year seminar. The spring semester of the freshman year includes a University Studies program, Communication 2 class, nutrition, microbiology, anatomy, and psych. And so those are 2 very heavy semesters, 17 and 17 credit hours. Then you apply as a non-freshman. Once you've done that coursework, you can apply. Due the 1st of September. Although they're working on that date, it might be the 15th of September, but it's due in September at the beginning of the fall semester. And then after you submit your application, you have some in-progress coursework, statistics, physiology, and a couple more USP courses. Now, this curriculum, the preclinical curriculum, is flexible. Students just need to get it done. It doesn't have to be on this time frame. This is just what they recommend. And all the while, those 40 students that were admitted as freshmen are taking these same classes. And they have to maintain a 3.0 grade point average in those classes, and they have to have a C or better in all of those classes. If they don't, they'll be one of those arrows exiting the freshman admission path, and they have to circle back around and apply as a non-freshman. And so the important thing to note is that there are 2 variables we don't know. Once we get into the program, the clinical component, it is what we call a lockstep program. And the seats in each class are guaranteed, and you move through that program with your cohort. So there's 48 students in the clinical component. And this is due to Laramie being a small community with a small hospital. We can't have clinical seats for students more than 48. And so there's 40 students admitted as freshmen, but students are exiting. Right? And so that's one variable that we don't know, how many students are exiting that freshman admission path. And the other variable that we don't know are how many students are applying on September 1st. So we don't quite know how many seats are available from year to year for the non-freshman admission. And we don't know how many applicants there are from year to year for the non-freshman admission. We can know historically there are about 15 seats available, 15 to 18 seats available each round of the non-freshman admission. And the variable that varies more greatly is how many students apply. Some years it's 50, some years it's 25. But we do know, and so please check also in the modules, there's a pre-nursing fact sheet that gives you a little bit of history about what can make you a good candidate for the program. So a little bit more about the non-freshman admission. This gives us the background. And again, students need to have a minimum 3.0 cumulative nursing grade point average in all preclinical courses. That means all the courses on the preclinical sheet, the biology, the chemistry, the microbiology, that grade point average specifically for those classes has to be a 3.0. And so if you got an A in a class that isn't on that sheet, the program of study preclinical coursework, that's great, but it's not bringing up that grade point average. So there's a difference between a student's UW grade point average and their nursing grade point average. As we can see there, and this is a very important thing to note, the average nursing grade point average of students that were admitted into the program was a 3.71. So that's quite high. That means for any B that you have 2 A's helping to bring it up. And so students are receiving A's or B's in our general biology and our general chemistry class. Most of the students that are admitted after 3 semesters. They apply to the non-freshman admission in their 3rd semester, so in their sophomore year in the fall semester. That last bullet point is super important. There's a strong need to have a backup plan. Admission into this program is in no way guaranteed. And so ACES advisors are trained to work with students to come up with salient backup plans, whether that's applying to a nursing program at another school or pursuing a different program at the University of Wyoming that can still achieve their career goals. And that's what's most important, and that's why the ACES advisors work with the pre-nursing students. We're experts in major and career exploration, keeping a student's academic, career, and life goals in mind. A little bit about taking general coursework, and there's a USP video that I would encourage you to watch that goes into this in more depth. But UW's general education program is called the University Studies Program. It encompasses 30 credit hours of coursework in these areas. All of these areas are covered through the nursing program. Other similar majors, and these are majors that ACES advisors will work with students about as salient backup plans. There's a concentration within family and consumer science called human development and family science. This is a very strong major for students that want to work in healthcare or want to pursue a post-baccalaureate nursing program. Students can pursue a degree in human nutrition and food. There's also a very strong dietetics program on campus that finishes with students having a certification to be a registered dietitian. The kinesiology and health promotion program on our campus parallels the preclinical curriculum for the nursing program very closely. And so all the hours that a student takes, all the courses they take will apply to that program directly. Common ones for students that are pursuing nursing can be biology, physiology, microbiology, psychology. All of those are strong majors for anyone wanting to pursue careers in a healthcare industry. Social work is a strong major for students that want to enter into a helping profession. Many students that declare nursing as a major declare it because they want to help. They want to work in a helping profession, and social work is a great program for that. There are many, many more majors on our campus. There are over 80 undergraduate majors at the University of Wyoming, and the ACES advisors are trained to work with students looking at their academic, career, and life goals to choose the major that best suits them. Making informed decisions, again, this is why the ACES advisors are the best suited on campus to do this. We've got career counselors on staff. We have some career assessments that students can take. We're experts on finding exploratory courses that still fit within degree programs. Really important, and so I'm sure you're hearing this, but just thought I would throw it in there. Be sure to check your UW email. All you have to do is click on the email icon on the WyoWeb home screen. Okay, if you have questions, please reach out to us. Please contact us. Please speak up in your academic advising intake appointments and really get to know your advisor and ask them questions.